If you've ever had a Milky Way candy bar, and who hasn't, well, you've already got a connection with our first destination. Back during the Great Depression, the head of a large candy bar company fell in love with rural Giles County. So much, he decided to build a massive rustic retreat there. And here's the good part, the new owners are determined to preserve it and share it with visitors.
I think that the Mars family wanted to show them how to really make a showplace, but they were really impressed with the beautiful countryside, the valleys, the bluegrass, the creeks, everything that just made this a beautiful place.
There's an expansive piece of paradise in southern Middle Tennessee, all built with profits from 5-cent candy bars. Mars Candy founder Frank Mars and his wife Ethel paid a visit to Giles County, fell in love with the land, and began acquiring 2,800 rolling acres of it. Soon there was a stately 25,000 square foot manor house, built with massive chestnut beams and stone from the farm's own quarry. The couple entertained large groups of family and friends who would travel here by train.
The house took 2 years to build, and it has 20 bedrooms and 14 and a half bathrooms.
Lynn Golden and her father Charles Jones are now the proud owners. The house and farm had been unoccupied for many years when they paid their first visit.
It was still amazing, even in the state that it was. There were some animals that had been flying around in there where the attic accesses didn't close. There was a large dead animal in the kitchen. And I just thought, oh my goodness. And going up to the mausoleum, it was overgrown to where you couldn't tell where the mausoleum was. It was beautiful even though it was overgrown, but I thought there's so much history that it was just, I'm sure people drive by and they were so sad.
At that time, neither Lynn nor her dad knew much about the Mars family history.
When I was a boy, I knew about a Milky Way candy bar, but I couldn't afford one.
So Mr. Jones bought a local newspaper ad inviting anyone connected to the farm's history to lunch here. They expected a handful to show up.
We had 350 people come with stories of how their father polished all the brass on the property, or the stories started coming in. I think Dad and I realized right then we're just stewards of this farm for right now, that it's really people built this farm, and there's a lot of love for this farm.
That right there is an interesting photograph because
one of those visitors was Sam Collins, who grew up here. His father was the farm bookkeeper who tried to save every document and photograph. And even this candy box that symbolizes how it all started.
The man who made those boxes, a man by the name of Eric Schuler, sold boxes to Mars Incorporated. They're the reason that the Mars family was in Giles County to begin with. Mr. and Ms. Mars came on a visit to Eric Schuler and his wife, who was from Giles County, and they came down here and saw how beautiful this country was and decided that they wanted to build this showplace here.
Imagine what a large dinner party was like with 40 guests seated at this massive dining table, 12 feet wide, 28 feet long. If they didn't come for the horse riding, they came for the parties. Some held on the infield of the horse racing track at the front of the property.
They would have social events and set up out there in the middle of the racetrack, and there would be people from all over come to be here on a Saturday afternoon and enjoy the lifestyle that they didn't have anywhere else.
From 1931 to 34, the Mars couple built about 30 barns for their livestock that included horses and a herd of prize horn Herefords.
The business people in town, the banks and whatever, were excited about them being here because the first order that he made, he said, are there any sawmills around here? And people said, yes, there's sawmills around here. And the first order he made was for 100,000 feet of lumber. And they just couldn't believe that anybody was going to build anything needed 100,000 feet of lumber. But that was just to build the first barn. You could get a job here at Milky Way if you were a good basketball player. You could put that on your resume, and that gave you a leg up.
The farm provided work for more than 900 people. While local citizens were grateful for the jobs, they weren't too crazy about Mr. Mars' politics.
One reason that the people weren't too excited about Mr. Mars is because Giles County at that time was a staunch and Democratic county. And Mr. Mars was a Republican.
I didn't know that.
He had big signs on the side of his Rio trucks that said, vote for Herbert Hoover. And the Democratic Party in Giles County wasn't very excited about that.
I bet not. Lynn and her father have elected to restore and maintain the remaining farm buildings like the Chandelier Barn. It was built to house Ethel Marr's award-winning thoroughbred horses. Another barn built with local stone was used for livestock auctions. It was later greatly expanded to include an arena and horse stalls, many named after what else but candy bars. Frank Marr's had this stone structure built for his office. The exterior shape offers a clue to some remarkable curved woodwork on the inside. It's hard to imagine the craft work required to accomplish this. Up on the farm's highest hill, Mr. Marr's had a mausoleum built for his final resting place, which it almost was after he died in 1934. You see, years later, Ethel Marr's moved Frank and the mausoleum to Chicago and later to Minnesota. Today, the site is a popular venue for weddings.
We always, the first weekend of the month, have some big festival and open house and hay rides if the weather cooperates. But we do tours through the week. We're usually open Tuesday through Friday.
Also, memberships are available to people who want to use the property for hiking, camping, and trail riding. It's been a tremendous challenge for the proprietors of this amazing Tennessee landmark. But Lynn Golden and Charles Jones are duty-bound to preserve and share this empire created long ago by a king of candy.
There's some circumstances where you've got to do a lot in order to be appreciated. Here, all you've got to do is just exist and cut the grass, and people seem to come by and say thank you.
It's been a blessing to this area, and it's a blessing to our family, so we're just honored to be part of it.